It's that time of the week, baby! Woo! Smells like Wrasslin! Episode 14 fucking episodes! We can't be stopped! You hyped tonight? Are you hyped tonight, baby? Because I sure as fuck am! Woo! What's going on, everybody? Eric here. Episode 14, Smells Like Wrasslin on the Smells Like Cologne Network here on YouTube. Coming at you again on a Wednesday night. My boy Process is in the building! Tearing ass in Vegas right now. That dude is probably a father to like 6 kids at this point. He's loose. Ric Flair style. Woo! Great episode of Dynamite. Just like a lot of stuff moving forward in a direction that I'm feeling is a good thing for AEW. I'm digging it. I'm digging it big time. Like I was kind of gonna go over Rampage, but fortunately I was a little late in getting back home from the job that actually makes me money. And no, I'm not talking about my OnlyFans account. I'm talking about the other one. Woo! But whatever. Here we go. Dynamite tonight. Stacked card. TNT champion Sammy Guevara fights against Scorpio Sky in a ladder match. Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler, both FTR, halves of the ROH and AAA tag team belts going at it in singles competition for the Owen Hart tournament qualifying match. Lance Archer versus Wardlow. The Undisputed Elite, Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, and Red Dragon versus Dante Martin without Darius. Another knee injury. He will be gone for another 7 to 8 months. Varsity Blondes, Lee Johnson, and Brock Anderson. We had the Philly Street Fight, Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida. The JAS and Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz will have a face-off. A whole bunch of shit went down tonight. Let's kick it off with the first match. CM Punk joins the commentary team for the match between Dax Harwood versus Cash Wheeler. Dax Harwood coming out with the win. If I was to take a bet between the two of them, I would have picked Dax. He's had the more singles matches. I've seen him in more singles matches, so it just kind of makes sense. I'm just more familiar with him in singles and when tag instead of a Cash. Cash doesn't really go into singles action too often, if ever. It was the first matchup between the two partners. They've never wrestled each other before. It was actually pretty awesome. Very straightforward mat wrestling. Like, these guys were gonna wrestle a la Owen Hart. Actually, if you look pretty closely, I'm pretty sure the beginning of that match was almost synonymous with the Bret Owen match, which I thought was fantastic. Both came out in Hart Foundation colors, which was great. It was pretty much like a fair going match going on with one another until Dax landed a thumb to the eye. And, you know, they kind of made it that it may or may not have been intentional. You know, that's when, like, shit got real. They started landing in blows, uppercuts, European uppercuts, forearms, close-fisted punches. You know, these guys aren't a lucha tag team. They're a very straightforward, traditional, classic tag team. I think as a tag team, in terms of their IQ as heels, they're the best in the business. They're better than the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks are fantastic. I say FTR beats them by a slim margin. It is not by a wide margin. I guess depending on who you talk to will depend on whether or not, you know, you agree with me or not. But what the fuck ever. Ended up being at the end, Dax ends up cradling him with the small package for the pin. Dax was going to actually do the sharpshooter on Cash, thought against it. That led to a series of reversals, which ended up leading to the small package for the win. They hugged each other. There's no way FTR is ever fucking breaking up. Not anytime soon. They're the most over tag team in the game. The crowd fucking loves them, whether they're facing against each other or not. This was a crowd that very much was into the matches. I felt like in a different way, more like a New Japan-esque kind of crowd where you're actually sitting there and watching what's going on in the ring, watching the story that's being told. But a great show. From what I understand, and someone would have to go out there and confirm this for me, I believe Hangman Adam Page has COVID, which would explain for his absence on tonight's show, because I feel like after the face-off between him and Punk last week, the natural progression of this should have been like a face-to-face conversation kind of promo thing. Dag, I really feel for Hangman. Like, he is a fantastic wrestler. He's a fantastic character. I just feel like the booking of his title reign was not it could have been better. You know what I mean? And, not gonna lie, like, Tony has never booked before. All right? He has just had the benefit of making, in my opinion, some very good calls. But that's not to say that he's made some pretty terrible ones. The hot potato thing that's going on with the TNT title is an example of that. We'll go into that when we go over that particular match. End of the match, they announced the match officially. At the end of the FTR match, they announced the match officially. Hangman Page versus CM Punk for the AEW World Championship. It is announced for Double or Nothing. I assume that will be the main event. Punk grabs a mic from commentary, kind of circles the ring. There's a very quick promo. He said that when he returned to wrestling, he asked, can I still do this? Now he could confidently say that he can. He said everything up to this point was a warm-up. He said actually except Eddie Kingston, which I thought was interesting because then that means he went full on with Eddie, which I guess is a sign of respect to Eddie that CM Punk had to basically, if you want to quote Dragon Ball, took off the weighted clothes and got for real. Punk says, he's like, I'm going to make you a promise. I'm going to give you 100%. I can't promise you a win because who knows, I'm not a gambling man, but I will always bet on myself, and I will tell you that I'm going to continue to fight until the wheels fall off. The only thing that's missing from this feud is a rebuttal from Hangman and some sort of back and forth. I think it's very important for the match and for Hangman, and if this is going to be the end of Hangman's title run, I would like them to respect Hangman. I feel like Hangman should get some very good, very significant digs on Punk in terms of their promos. I honestly think that Hangman should go out there and start putting on banger matches leading up to it, letting everyone know, listen, CM Punk is the only person that, he's not the only person that could put on great matches on Dynamite and Rampage. I could do that too. I really think Hangman should be defending more in significant matches against significant contenders, or at least matches that feel significant against contenders, just like Punk has. Because to be quite honest, they haven't been building up anyone to fight Punk per se. Punk has been fighting people to build himself up. Now, that's smart booking. That's what you want to do to your contender, because the champion is supposed to be the best of the best, and the challenger has to prove himself to the audience for it to be a believable title match. I think that sometimes they just throw guys in front of champions and we're expected to care. I didn't care about anybody Hangman fought except for Bryan Danielson, because they built it up. That Bryan Danielson won the tournament. He was the number one contender. He was going to fight Hangman. They had the draw. They had promos leading up to it. He fought him again and beat him. Like, those were significant fucking matches. Process, I honestly think it's going to be sooner than that. I think Punk is going to have a summer of Punk, and he's going to drop to MJF at All Out in Chicago. MJF already alluded that the next time he faces him, he's like, I'm going to embarrass you in the worst way anyone could ever be embarrassed. I think MJF winning at All Out, which is AEW's biggest show, in Chicago, CM Punk's hometown, in front of his hometown crowd, beats him. I feel like that's where it's leading up to. Unless I'm wrong, and they hold off on that MJF match, but I still think he's going to be the winner of the Casino Battle Royal, because he's going to lose his match with Wardlow. And MJF, in perfect heel fashion, has lost more matches this year than he's won, is still going to end up being champ by the end of the year. Let's put it that way. That's my opinion. That's my guess. That's my theory. So that promo kind of ended. Scorpio Sky and Dan Lambert backstage. Sky says he was screwed out of the title. He's not here to complain. He's here to kick some ass and win the belt. And he's going to steal the spotlight from Sammy in the ladder match because, Sammy's been Sammy's put on some great performances in ladder matches in the past, so there we go. William Regal joins commentary. We have the Blackpool Combat Club defeating the Nightmare Factory. Just another trios victory for the Blackpool Combat Club. The trios titles are coming. I believe in my heart of hearts that the trios titles will be announced at Double or Nothing. They will announce a tournament that will go on throughout the summer, and its culmination will happen at All Out. They have established a lot of trios teams. We have the reformation of Death Triangle. Very glad to see Rey Fenix back, one of the best wrestlers in the world. They have the House of Black. They have the Blackpool Combat Club. They have they have Adam Cole and Red Dragon. They have, I'm assuming Kenny Omega's return. I would assume would happen within the next, this is a total assumption, I would assume within the next 6 months. Then you have the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega as a trio. You have Santana and Ortiz and Eddie Kingston as a trio. There are way too many trios teams out there. There are way too many trios teams that have been built up. There are way too many trios matches that have been happening in AEW and Dynamite. They are going to finish the Owen Hart tournament, and CM Punk's title reign is also going to be highlighted and bookended by finally the debut of the trios belts and a trios tournament. And that trios tournament is gonna be fucking bonkers. This is another reason why I wanted the trios belts, and it's kind of a cheap way of booking, but hear me out. There are so many people, and I talk about this every fucking week. There is so many people within AEW that could definitely, they're just stars that need a spotlight. You know what I mean? They're already stars. And that is the double-edged sword of having a full-on A-tier roster. They have pushed out a lot of guys that weren't really working out, and it's all A-list, proven television people, except for the women's division. But other than that, almost everyone in the tag, single, mid-card, they're all kind of guys that have been established at one point in time. There's not enough shit for them to do. Honestly, there's not enough time for them to do shit if there was shit for them to do. So, what do? Like, there needs to be more, I'll use the brass ring analogy as an example, but I'll use it like in a way that's not derogatory like the fucking WWE way. I'm talking about like brass rings, like you need something for these guys to chase. Are they chasing a revenge? Are they chasing respect? Are they chasing a title? Are they, are they running from something? That is what wrestling is all about. It's the chase. It's the constant chasing of the dragon in so many different facets. But you have all these guys, and a lot of them are kind of not chasing fucking anything. The Blackpool Combat Club is just beating people up week in and week out. It's not leading anywhere. You know what I mean? I mean, like, if you want to start building up Danielson and Moxley as a tag team, for them to go after the tag belts, like, that's a possibility too. I mean, but like, are we going to have another tag team that's not a tag team? Like, Danielson and Moxley are singles competitors, period. That's what they were. They have the ability to, because they're talented enough to work in different kinds of teams, but like, they're better off as singles competitors. This right now, like, if you make a trios division, boom. You give me a team of Moxley, Danielson, and Yuta, I'm all in. I am all fucking in. You just gotta have something more for these guys to do, and adding another belt into the mix with a very stacked division already, I think is a perfect opportunity to give them purpose, to give them formidable foes, and give them something to chase. Then within that microcosm, within that trios division, you have guys chasing the title. You have guys chasing respect. You have guys chasing vendettas. Then you can make stories that matter centered on a trios dynamic. I think it's a perfect idea. I think it needs to happen. I think Tony can't keep on booking like this forever. Trios, and he knows it. And he knows it because, in my opinion, the writing's on the wall. All these trios teams are are fusing together now. Like, they're making solid trios teams, and they're getting people used to trios action. It's gotta happen. All right, it's gotta fucking happen. So, that was another match. There's really nothing to report. Blackpool Combat Club beats the Nightmare Factory. The end. Blackpool Combat Club, that was the combination of QT Marshall, Nick Camarado, and Aaron Solo. The Nightmare Factory are a bunch of bums. You know what I mean? They're enhancement guys. Like, those are the guys who you send out there for guys like Blackpool Combat Club to get an easy win. Because that's people you use when you don't have anyone else built up. But that trios division, man, I'm telling you, you throw them into a mix with Death Triangle, any of the trios, House of Black, come on. Danielson, Moxley, and Yuta versus Buddy Matthews, Malachi Black, and Brody King. That's a money match. Against Adam Cole and Red Dragon, money match. Against against Omega and the Bucks, money match. Easy money. You want to make that money, Tony? You want to make that money? I like making money. I know you like making money. You're a billionaire. I know you love making money. I'm going to give this one to you on the house. Pull the trigger on those trios belts for this summer. Boom. Boom. Easy. Now you have a whole bunch of fresh new titles, fresh new stories to put in for the latter half of 2022 where you need to fucking kill it in those ratings, my dude. You and I both know that you want to finish this year strong because next year's negotiating season. Push it. Push it. Push it. You could even have that tournament. You could even have that tournament end at Grand Slam and pop a rating. Boom. Easy money. 20,000 New York AEW rabid fans. Give them something to fucking go nuts about. You gave him Omega versus Danielson. I would love for them to run it one more time back at Grand Slam and with no time limit. There will be a winner. You do that and then put a trios championship. Give me props in the chat right now. I know both Doom and Process are on there. I want fucking props in the chat right now for the booking of Grand Slam that I just put out there right now. God damn. Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Tommy Storm were backstage. The three Owen Hart Cup qualified wrestlers in the women's bracket. And more shit talking, but this time, Ruby Soho interrupted. She was the other person who had qualified. It's going to be a very interesting tournament in the women's division because, to be honest, at that point, just snipe all of the worthwhile women and put them in there. Britt Baker, put in Chris Statlander, put in Ruby Soho, put in fucking Thunder Rosa. There's no reason why the AEW women, and then if she loses in that tournament, make that some sort of hint to who could be going against her for the title again. All right? This is a chance for the women's division to really put on some banger matches in quick succession. No more, as much as I love, no Julia Harts, no Sky Blues, no Red Velvets, no one who hasn't had the experience and the pedigree that these women have, with the exception of Britt Baker, because she's done it. Put Jade Cargill in the tournament, all right? Put the Bunny in the tournament. Put Anna Jay in there. She's the only, worthwhile name, you know what I mean? Put Ty Conte in there. You know what I mean? Put women who could fucking go. All right? Put women in there who could fucking go, and then put on a banger tournament that WWE could never be able to do because they're never going to have women's matches in the WWE that are longer than a fart. So, and then Becky Lynch could eat her words. I know she said stuff online. I don't give a shit. You want to know why I don't give a shit? I don't watch WWE. She doesn't exist to me. She doesn't fucking matter to me as a fan. She matters to other people who like that show. But nothing that she says holds any weight with me because she doesn't exist. Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Christian Cage were backstage. Jungle Boy kind of lamenting the fact that he lost his chance to get into the tournament. He lost against Kyle O'Reilly. If I'm not mistaken, that was a match on Rampage, so we're probably going to be talking about little snippets of Rampage as we go along, as it pertains to Dynamite. Christian said that he didn't sound like a sore loser, he just sounded like a loser, and he'll bounce back. Now, there's been talk that, when Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus lose the title, that's when Christian's going to turn heel, or maybe Christian costs them the belts, who knows? But that's obviously going to end up in a feud with Jungle Boy and Christian. This might be the first seeds of that because he was kind of harsh with Jungle Boy, but he should be fucking harsh. Like, you don't sound like you don't sound like a sore loser. You're not a guy who's like, oh, you weren't making excuses. You owned up to it and you lost. And you said you lost, and you know what? You did lose. You are a loser because you lost. But pick up that title, hold it strong, and we're going to take on any team in the top 5. And my motherfucking boy Ricky Starks and my other motherfucking boy Powerhouse Hobbs show up, challenge him for the belt. Ricky Starks is the man. I would not be disappointed at all if Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs became the new AEW Tag Team Champions. Those guys have been whipping ass. Ricky Starks is amazing. The more he's on TV, the happier I am. Powerhouse Hobbs has been better and better and better and better and better. His character's been getting better. Dude's looking shredded. He's getting great in the ring. I never see any hesitation or confusion with him. He's in there. He knows what the fuck he's about. I am not. And they have more personality than Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Anywho, MJF and Shawn Spears were seated in a luxury box like a bunch of fucking douchebags. Basically saying, what's the best form of birth control in Philadelphia? Women's personality. That was actually pretty funny. Basically he said Lance Archer's gonna silence everybody. This again is classic. I'm gonna work my way up to MJF territory. And Wardlow beats him. Hits him with 4 power bombs, whoops his ass to the end. MJF was pissed. He's gonna figure some shit out, which he ends up talking about later on in the program. Jericho Appreciation Society had to sit down with Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz. I get what they're trying to do. Jericho is running sports entertainment segments. And a sports entertainment segment is always a sit down between the two factions, blah, 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 that always ends in a fight. But Tony Khan said there is not going to be any contact in this, segment. And whoever does is going to have a fine and a suspension. So what was this? Both teams kind of just egging each other on to hit each other. Pretty awesome shit. Kingston's, he basically said he doesn't care about the sports entertainment crap. Jericho said he was going to put a hit out on Kingston. Kingston says, you don't say hit in our world unless you're about to put somebody in the fucking ground. Jericho dared Kingston to hit him, saying, "Why don't you get kicked out of another company? This is your last chance. Nobody wants you." He basically got in Jericho's face, saying, "Bro, I don't think you're that guy. You don't have what it takes to do what we need to do." That ends up coming into effect later. Sammy Guevara video played. He basically called Scorpio Sky the least interesting member of the AEW roster. That's wrong. He was the least interesting TNT champion in TNT championship history. Philly Street Fight, Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida. I don't understand why Deeb won. She has beat the shit out of Hikaru Shida for like a year. I don't know what's going on. I thought it was Shida's time to win it. She hasn't really done anything significant except losing to Serena Deeb. But hey, Shida's already really been built up. If they want to build up the, Serena Deeb, fine. She's created a persona for herself. She's created a character. I think this the professor of professional wrestling and her being an absolute bitch is fantastic. So, I guess they fed Shida to Deeb to give Deeb a push. I'm cool with that. I'm fine. MJF and Shawn Spears are backstage. He basically yelled at Alexi Nair, who I think I heard is DDP's daughter. She is fucking something. I don't know what else to say about that. He basically said, he called somebody. He's like, hey, how'd you like to make 6 figures for one match? He said, cool. He's like, listen, Wardlow, you're done because I'm getting someone stronger than you, I'm getting someone smarter than you, and I'm getting someone taller than you. And you can't teach that. That, I would assume, it would be W. Morrissey, who was the former Big Cass, who's currently in Impact. AEW does have a relationship with Impact. I mean, obviously, we've had the Good Brothers on television. We had Don Callis for a while. So it looks like it's going to be Wardlow versus, W. Morrissey, the former Big Cass, next week. Very cool. I am liking that I'm seeing people from other promotions. I like that other promotions are being, like, now they exist. You know what I mean? Like, I've known that they've existed, but, like, they haven't existed in, like, the national television, like, universe. You know what I'm saying? Like, WWE doesn't talk about anybody else. They barely talk about ECW, and the only reason they talk about WCW is because they bought them. So, oh, yeah, Lexi Nair's fine and piece of ass, yeah. I like the fact that other promotions are involved. To be quite honest, I mean, they did the announcement about the Forbidden Door, which is going to be, I think, when was that announcement? Wednesday or, no, it was last Dynamite. Yeah, it would definitely be on Dynamite. I think that we're getting close to the point where you get all these promotions, New Japan, AEW, and make it like WrestleMania, but different. WrestleMania is fully centered on the WWE universe. I think AEW's like whatever, and I guess it doesn't have to be their Mania because I honestly consider All Out to be their Mania. But if they're going to have a big stadium show, I think it should be like a pro wrestling Mania kind of deal. Have all these promotions spend a year to build up big matches that end up happening at this mega show that they have in a stadium. The Impact titles are on the line. All their like biggest, those highest profile feuds end up on that show. Ring of Honor, New Japan, everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would be a cool idea. This may not be something they'll do this year. I mean, like, if AEW builds steam, like, then I could say maybe. I think other promotions would want to, hitch on board. But I think it has an opportunity of doing it. I think you could pull off that kind of crowd in New York. I think you could pull off that kind of crowd in Chicago. And I think that's it. I think you do a show like that, you want to do it on, like, Long Island. You want to do it at where, like, the Ducks play. Or do it where the Red Bulls play in a soccer stadium. You know what I mean? Like, do it there. But you do, like, a super show and you do it in, like, a major metropolitan area that's, like, a big pro wrestling town. New York is the perfect place. I'm not saying that because I live here. I mean, Chicago has been working out great for AEW. Las Vegas is a very easy tourist destination to get to. It's not that expensive to get a flight to Vegas. So, like, in theory, it's not as inaccessible to get to Vegas. Los Angeles, meh. Philly, I don't see it. Florida, I guess. It's a good tourist location. I wouldn't say it's a big wrestling town. I mean, Jacksonville is the home of fucking AEW, and that's where NXT has been for forever. So, maybe Florida, but New York's the place. High profile, got a stadium, huge pro wrestling market. Anything that's happened in New York has sold out. G1 Supercard sold out. 20,000 plus people at Arthur Ashe for Grand Slam. We've had Mania at MetLife Stadium. The Garden was sold out because of Supercard. They could sell out UBS, easy. They could sell out, I'm telling you, New York's the place. To do a stadium show in America, New York's the place, period. Lights went out. Fuego del Sol's laid out. This again, remember I was talking about, like, I don't really care what's going on with the House of Black. Now it's getting fucking interesting with the return of Rey Fenix. Rey Fenix and Pac rounding out Death Triangle. Listen, guys, Death Triangle has unfortunately had some very bad luck. A lot of their guys were injured. there was COVID, there was visa problems. Death Triangle is a fantastic trio that just can't seem to get all of its wheels running at the same time. But here we have it, guys. We have a fully healthy Death Triangle. We have a fully healthy House of Black. Make that a fucking match at fucking Double or Nothing. Do not make it on fucking Rampage. I don't want it on television. If like, this has to be at the pay-per-view. So we'll see. But props off to Ray Phoenix. Glad to have you back. In an Owen Hub qualifying match, they announced Darby Allin versus Swerve Strickland. I kind of like the fact that these qualifying matches are happening sporadically. They're not all being announced in advance per se. I mean, this one is being announced in advance, but I like just like finding out. I like that I'm not always hearing about it on the internet. I like that it actually shows up on TV. I think that's kind of cool. So Darby Allin, Swerve Strickland, Rampage. Rampage is going to be stacked. I'll talk to you guys about the other matches as we go throughout the show. I honestly don't know who's going to win that match. I mean, Swerve is a great competitor. I would love to see him in this tournament. I don't care how deep or not deep he goes. Any match he's going to be in is going to be baller. I feel the exact same thing about Darby Allin. You want to know what that means? That means it's a good matchup. That means it's a win-win for me as a fan. Swerve wins, I'm pumped. Darby wins, I'm pumped. I'm going to be bummed out that when either of the two lose, but I still win out in the end. Great booking. Undisputed Elite. Adam Cole, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish with Brandon Cutler defeat Dante Martin without his brother Darius. Damn, man, tough break. Another 8 months out with a knee injury. Fuck. I guess we're going to keep on waiting for Top Flight. Top Flight's another tag team that's just really just had a rough go of it. But to be quite honest, they booked Dante Martin fantastically. They were smart by really pushing Darius when Darius came back. So, here's still a speedy recovery. I hope you're back on TV soon. It was another match. 5 guys beating 5 guys, the end. And they won. That's it. They all put on t-shirts saying Undisputed Elite, the end. Obviously, they're going to coalesce, and the one thing that's going to throw them off track is the return of Kenny Omega. So I would assume that Kenny probably comes back Double or Nothing. We'll see. Cameras cut backstage. Jericho Appreciation Society, obviously because the sit down is over. No fines could be laid because they got through the segment without laying a hand on anybody. Blew a fireball into Kingston's face. So I guess this is a way to put Kingston off TV or possibly slow the momentum of this feud so that it could pop off at Double or Nothing. Makes sense, right? I just don't see how a 5-on-3 dynamic works. I would assume either A, the 3-man team has to figure out a way to even the odds and take out, I would assume take out 2.0, just take off 2 guys right out the bat, boom, and then that leaves it with Jericho, Hager, and Garcia, which I feel like is the trios team of that group. And so I guess that would work out. Or you add 2 people to Santana, Ortiz, and Kingston. But then at that point, you've created another faction, and I just don't see a reason for any whatchamacallit, just for another faction in AEW. Doom, I honestly think that he's so young. They're like 20. You know what I mean? So, like, if Darius goes down and he gets healthy, like what? He's going to be a 22, 23-year-old along with his brother? I think they're going to be fine. Even though he's having injuries, they're so young that have these injuries now, build up some resistance in your body, and then go out there and just freaking just bang it out. You know what I mean? They're just so young. I don't necessarily think that, that Darius being injured is the end, unless he's so injured that he can't physically wrestle, but I don't think it's the end for Top Flight. No way. Video package aired. Samoa Joe versus Trent Beretta for the Ring of Honor television title. I like how the TV title's being defended. Samoa Joe's the fucking man. He's a guy you want to put on TV all the time. Guys like Samoa Joe, CM Punk, Moxley, Danielson, those are guys you should have on TV every week to keep up the ratings. But you gotta make sure that you're spending time building other guys to make sure that these guys have worthwhile matches. Otherwise, you have great guys doing nothing. You know? Otherwise, you got a whole bunch of Romans. You don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want a guy who's dominant, but like you're dominant over our fucking roster and nobodies. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I don't know. Anywho, lineup for Rampage this week is as follows. Again, like before, Owen Hart Foundation qualifier, Darby Allin versus Swerve Strickland. Jade Cargill and her baddies, which are Red Velvet and Kiera Hogan, will be fighting Willow Nightingale, Trisha Dora, and Sky Blue. People have been telling me I need to give Willow Nightingale another chance. Listen, I was wrong about Jade. There were a lot of people that had turned the corner that I'm really into now. And you want to know why? They proved themselves. So let's see if she proves herself. But I just thought that the promo that they had her cut at, was that Supercard of Honor? The most latest Ring of Honor show. I think that was it. That promo that they had her cut was absolutely terrible. Like, no one wants a goofy, dumb, chuckle fuck who could wrestle. You know what I mean? Like, that's just dumb. Like, say what you about, like, Orange Cassidy and, like Danhausen, but they're not making up dumb, stupid rhymes and giggling like children. Like, I'm not a fan of that fucking shit. Like, I don't like it. Let's see. We got Keith Lee versus Colton Gunn. The ROH Television Championship, like I said before, Samoa Joe, the champ, defending against Trent Beretta. And a face-off between Hook and Danhausen. So that is, I think, another thing that happened on Rampage number 1. I think, no. Hook had his first match. Danhausen called him out. Danhausen then called out Hook again by, like, opening up a gigantic-ass bag of potato chips and, like, stomping on him. And then Hook spoke for the first time. He went up to him and he's like, "You want my attention? You got it now." And Danhausen was terrified. Danhausen and Hook having a face-off on Rampage. Cannot wait for that. When do you have this match? Do you have it on television? Do you have it on Dynamite? Do you have it on Rampage? Is that a buy-in show for Double or Nothing? I mean, Double or Nothing's in what? 5 weeks? 4.5, 5 weeks? Can you keep the momentum for that storyline going for the next couple of weeks to have a worthwhile build-up? We'll see. Lineup for Dynamite next week. This I was super excited about. The undisputed ROH women's title is on the line. You have the interim champion, Mercedes Martinez, who won at Ring of Honor's most recent event. I think she beat Willow Nightingale, if I'm not mistaken. Versus the current Ring of Honor Women's Championship champion, Deonna Purrazzo. Very excited to see her on television. Deonna Purrazzo is awesome. I also kind of hope that this is a way that to introduce her onto television and then put her in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. We'll see. But that is very cool. Mercedes Martinez, obviously a well-established character. She's great. That should be a fantastic match. I do predict that Deonna is going to come out as champ. She's the future. Give her the belts. Who said Lars Sullivan is all leave? Get the fuck out of here. And then Wardlow versus a mystery opponent who, I mean, come on. You can't teach that. It's going to be Big Cass, a.k.a. W. Morrissey. And then an Owen Hart Foundation Cup qualifier. Another great matchup, Jeff Hardy versus Bobby Fish. Should be a great match. Very curious to see who advances in that match. Maybe Bobby Fish wins and they do another tag partner versus partner. Maybe they give Jeff Hardy the push and have an old school veteran in there. Who knows? I think with the role that the Undisputed Elite is attempting to go on right now, I say Bobby Fish wins. But I mean, the Hardys have yet to lose, so I don't know. We'll see. TNT Championship ladder match. Scorpio Sky defeats Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara's gone full heel. Thank Christ. Embrace it. That allowed him to be he was so hated and had so much heat that Scorpio Sky A guy that, let's be honest, no one gave a fuck about. That crowd exploded when he won the belt. That's the shit that I'm talking about. You build up someone enough that you want to see someone win. And you get behind this person because it represents that bad guy losing. And people didn't want to see Sammy with the belt. They wanted him to lose. And he fucking lost. And everyone got behind Scorpio Sky. That's the shit. And to be quite honest, I mean, that worked, man. And people who were just like, man, Scorpio Sky, this Scorpio. Hey, man, he's got the belt and he's fucking over. You got everything that you wanted. Was it a smooth road? No, it was bumpy as fuck. But you got an over Scorpio Sky as the champ. Have him with Dan Lambert. Have him with Ethan Page. Have him with Paige Van Zandt. Have them be a face faction. Have Dan Lambert shit all over people. Dan Lambert could definitely be a fucking face. He could definitely be an asshole. And in the same way that Heyman could still be Heyman as a heel or a face. Gives Ethan Page something to do. Has some protection for Paige Van Zandt, because then it'll get people wanting to cheer her, wanting her to succeed. Her first match is not going to be pretty, people. So you want to build as much goodwill with the fans as possible and just build her up as a person that you want to see. Have her whoop Ty Conti's ass. That's what people want to see. They want to see Sammy and Ty lose. Have them lose again. They're not going to be losers. They're over. They could be a heel. They could get into a feud with somebody else on another time and go for it. Fuck, Sammy could get into a feud with CM Punk during CM Punk's title reign. And Sammy could be the most douchiest douche ever, and they're going to be fucking over CM Punk and build him up, and then have CM Punk beat him. You can still do that shit. Great match, super entertaining. Again, Sammy Guevara puts on a good ladder match. Scorpio Sky, you put him with someone great, he could do it. You know what I mean? I think he has a potential. I don't feel like he's reached it yet. I think that there's better work ahead of Scorpio Sky. There's something. I feel like he's almost got it, but there's something. There's something that he needs. Maybe it's this belt. I don't know. But they even had a ladder with barbed wire. They did a Spanish fly on that ladder. Scorpio knocked Sammy off the top of the ladder into the ladder with the barbed wire. Fucking wild shit. But there was run-ins by Lambert. There was run-ins by Ty Conti. There was run-ins by Paige Van Zandt. Paige Van Zandt, by the way, as she runs to the ring, is getting a huge pop. Why? Because she is helping give the people what they want, which is whooping Sammy, whooping Ty, and helping Scorpio get the belt. There was a little bit too much like cheering in the middle of a ladder match. Like, stop giving high fives to Paige. Run up the ladder and get the belt, dummy. It's a title match. But whatever. It worked out. Great main event. Solid show. The crowd was pretty subdued. I mean, I always go between, like, are they watching it intently? Because sometimes when I watch, like, when I'm at those shows, I'm not necessarily cheering the whole time. I'm sitting there and I'm watching everything. I'm like, holy crap, this is like what I watch on TV. I'm seeing it live and I watch it intently. And then, like, I'll get into the spots as they're there. But, like, the in-between spots, if it's quiet, like, it's because I'm watching. Who knows what that could mean? But for a Pennsylvania crowd, that close to Philly, a little quieter than I thought. But, we'll see. We'll see how things go as they go. One or two more Dynamites until so I will let you guys know in advance on May 11th, which is the Dynamite at UBS in Long Island. Obviously, there will not be a show because I will be there live, and I will be also watching Rampage. So I will probably do a show the following night. And I'll have Rampage spoilers for the first time. So I don't report on them at all. But since I was there, I'll do Dynamite first. I'll give you guys a spoiler warning. And if you want to end up watching the rest of the episode as I talk about how Rampage was while it's still fresh, absolutely. But again, a little bit of a shorter episode than normal. But I know I started a little bit late, so we kind of ended on time tonight. Thank you very much. for watching again. I appreciate it. 14 episodes, super exciting process, brother. Good to have you back. Enjoy your time in Vegas. Doom, get a job, bro. I love you, buddy. All right, I'll vlog the show. I will. It's very tough to get signal. I will do my best to vlog the show, and I'll post some videos for you guys. No problem. Thank you to the guys in the chat. Thank you to all of you who watch, either live or not live. I appreciate the support. Thank you very much. I will see you guys next week with another review and recap.